Midnight is the transition time period from one day to the next, the moment when the date changes. In ancient Roman timekeeping, midnight was halfway between sunset and sunrise, varying according to the seasons. Solar midnight is that time opposite of solar noon, when the sun is closest to nadir and the night is equidistant from dusk and dawn. Due to the advent of time zones, which make time identical across a range of meridians, and daylight saving time, it rarely coincides with midnight on a clock. Solar midnight is dependent on longitude and time of the year rather than on a time zone. In the Northern Hemisphere, midnight had an ancient geographic association with north. Modern Polish and Russian preserve this association with their words for midnight, which also means north. Start and end of day. Midnight marks the beginning and ending of each day in civil time throughout the world. It is the dividing point between one day and another. With 12-hour time notation, authorities recommend avoiding confusion between noon and midnight by using midnight, 12 midnight, 12 miles, or 12:00 midnight. In the United States and Canada, digital clocks and computers commonly display 12 a.m. right after midnight. While that phrase may be used practically, it helps to understand that any particular time is actually an instant. The AM shown on clock displays refers to the 12-hour period following the instant of midnight, not to the instant itself, because at that time you are looking at clocks midnight has already passed and the period before noon of a new day has begun. In other words, 11:59 p.m. shows until midnight. At the instant of midnight it changes to 12:00. Simultaneously, the PM changes to AM, though, strictly speaking, AM does not apply to the instant of midnight which separates PM and AM. In 24-hour time notation, 0:00 and 0 o'clock refer to midnight at the start of a given date. Some styles, such as ISO 8601, allow 24:00 to refer to the end of a day. Noon is 12 o'clock. While computers and digital clocks display 12 a.m. and 12 p.m., those notations provide no clear and unambiguous way to distinguish between midnight and noon. Strictly speaking, it is actually incorrect to use AM and PM when referring to noon or midnight. The abbreviation AM stands for ante-meridiem or before noon and PM stands for post-meridiem or afternoon. Since noon is neither afternoon nor before noon, and midnight can equally be 12 hours before and after noon, neither abbreviation is correct. The most common ways to represent these times are, to use a 24-hour clock, to use 12 noon, or 12 midnight, although unless the person is referring to a general time and not a specific day, 12 midnight is still ambiguous, to specify the time between two successive days or dates, and to use 12:01 a.m., or 11:59 p.m., as is used where the ambiguity can have serious consequences, such as in contracts and insurance policies. The 30th edition of the U.S. Government Style Manual Sections 9.54 and 12.9b recommends the use of 12 a.m. for midnight and 12 p.m. for noon. Some religious calendars continue to begin the day at another time, for example, at sunset in the Hebrew calendar and the Islamic calendar. See also, 12-hour clock, noon, New Year's Eve, notes. The 29th edition of the U.S. Government Printing Office Style Manual Section 12.9 recommended the opposite, the use of 12 p.m. for midnight and 12 a.m. for noon. References. External links, National Institute of Standards and Technology.